now we should be going live. We're live. According to YouTube, we are live. And I am very happy to be here on a special Movie Crap Wednesdays, as I'm calling it. Thank you everyone for being here. It's a lot of people before we started. And just waiting to see. Don't see anything yet. We'll see if I can see anything, but I'm still talking. Hopefully you can hear me right now. Oh, there you can hear me. I can hear me too. I notice sometimes... Whoa. Hold on. I muted myself? Okay. Hopefully I can see the chat again soon. I hope you can all see me. Sorry. YouTube's being a little funny. I'm assuming because everyone is watching it. I see everyone there. Hey, I see punk guys here. See other people. Not sure what's going on right now. Yeah, but as we're waiting, I hope everyone is good. Hope everyone's having a good day. Actually, okay, people can see me. Okay, cool. Sorry, my YouTube was not behaving. Apparently, crap is not YouTube friendly. I found out. Thanks for all the streams. Stay safe. Thank you. Before I came up, now I'm gonna come up for that. You're the first. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Wow, super chat already. Thank you, Mandela Butterfly. Thanks for all the streams. Stay safe. Thank you to you too. Sorry about that. Cheers to you. Starting off the stream right. Oh, I need to set out the tweet so people know. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Izzy, for being here. Thank you for Sinram's here, Austin, Nathaniel Fogel, everybody. I saw Alex Zook is here. Got everybody. Got a good group. The tweet is out. People know. Sorry it took so long. YouTube's being all funky this week, I think, because half the world is watching YouTube. So, which is why I'm here. I wanted to hopefully, give you something to do for an hour. So that basically the deal is with this show is it's an hour long. It's going to be a little looser than the regular show. I'll hit a ton of topics on that. I'll hit like everything I need to, but this is just 5 topics. Then a welcome to Eltingville review, and then we'll do questions and so forth. What I can fit in. If you do not get a question, and this is a good point to bring up the Discord, go to my Discord server. There's an Ask Jim section. Any question you've ever wanted to ask it there. I will get to it. I'm going to do that tonight before I go to sleep. That's the last thing I'm doing. I'm going to answer everybody's. So if I don't get to you, please go there. Or if you think of it later, hey, Ransom Film. I wrote a short, Jim, the movie script. You do review stuff in it. I was sure to make the part of the story. May I send you the script? It's 9 pages. I'd be happy for you to you to send me the script. I'm very busy right now, but I will get to it. But if you send it to me, there's a better chance that I will read it. So thank you for sending that. When are you going to have me a guest on Movie Crap? From Izzy. I'm actually figuring that out. That's one of my kind of quarantine goals. 1 is stay alive. 2 is keep my family alive. And 3 is figure out how to get guests on the show. That's, no offense to anybody, but, that's my 3rd. Anyway, Ransom Film, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being here, Izzy. Makes me feel good. Alright, so, before we get to the big thing, Ryan Walterson sent me something, and I think, if you noticed, I haven't seen Jim wear this shirt. I'm sure you don't care. But, here, look at this. Juwanna Man. A shirt of... Hold on. Are we getting it? Juwanna Man, the shirt. I don't look attractive right now, but... Because of the face I'm making. But yes, he sent me a Juwanna Man shirt. I have a Juwanna Man shirt. I actually got a nice comment from someone about Juwanna Man today. about how that they were trans, and it kind of helped them just getting that little bit of representation, which is depressing, but because it's not great representation. But they acknowledged that they were 9 and meant a lot to them. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, all right. Before we get to the topics, I wanted to say that this show and everything I do is mainly, I'd say 90% or so, supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show or on my Patreon. I understand it is tough times, and please only do so if you're financially able to do that. But I very much appreciate anything that you can give to help me continue to make this stuff. And I'm pretty much sponsored by viewers like you, and I thank you very much for that support. But just watching or liking and sharing and all that stuff is good enough if you are not able to do that. So anyway, here we go. Let's talk about trailers first, and then we will go into... I'm deeply invested in what you were, Jim. Deeply invested. Really? This is interesting. Now I want to see Izzy go, bad shirt in this review, Jim. Bad shirt. Don't do that. My self-esteem won't handle it. But I sort of want you to in a way. Sophia's doing fine in quarantine. We played Sesame Street games today. That was great. Anyway, so sorry, I have a cough. I'm fine. I'm actually feeling better. I had a little bit of the flu, nothing corona related. But anyway, and the letter J. Thank you very much, Austin. Thank you. And that's another reminder to join the Discord server there. But thank you very much. Cheers to you. Are you getting... I don't think we're getting... Let's bring Izzy, since Izzy's here. Izzy can be up here. No offense to... Oh, lost a tick character. And then... Oh, I should actually have the camera... I will start doing Izzy's review of Jim's outfit of the week. That would be an amazing podcast. I think it would be great. Let's move Izzy up here. Represent Nolan. Pan's got enough attention. He's fine. This is watching Jim play with his pizza party action figures. Cough in your arm, boy. Good point, Ryan. I'm trying to get better at that, actually. That's the thing I need to do. So thank you. Thank you very much, Austin. I don't know if I cheers to you already, but this is like comic tropes the early years. Does anyone get that? I don't care. I made it anyway. Alright, so there are 2 big animated trailers that dropped so far this week. One being the Willoughbys, and the other being Solar Opposites. I'm going to talk about the Willoughbys first. I like the animation style of it. I don't know if it's stop motion or not, but I kind of like the cool kind of like flowingness of it, and I like that it's like a funny kind of quirky family adventure. Before I get more into that, fun fact from Niji Kichu. Fun fact, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Tim Burton had real squirrels trained for months to test nuts and attack Veruca Salt and her father. That's disturbing for that girl and her family, but that is a good fun fact. If I were her parents, I'd be like, oh, you're gonna... I'm assuming they were trained not to hurt, but anyway, cheers to you, Niji Kichu. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for the super chat. Anyway, so the Willoughbys, I like the style of it. It sort of reminds me of Klaus in the way that it's a family film that's kind of quirkier. It looks weirder. It looks kind of stranger, and it looks very animation nerdy, which I think Klaus very much was in. And so if I know it's probably not done by any of the same people, but if you were going to say like what their studio style is, I think you would say that would be that. It kind of looks like that, even though they are not related. But I'm excited for that. That comes out in April, and it looks like kind of an interesting kind of. It looks actually better than the Addams Family movie. Some of the trailer is hitting a little too hard, so I'm not sure if it's trying to. Thank you, Niji Kichu, for being here. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you for stopping by at all. That's very cool. If you have to work tonight, but thank you, and good luck at work. But it looks fun. It looks cool. It's something we're going to watch. But I'm going to watch with Sophie and stuff. But I will say the trailer has maybe too many jokes in terms of a standard animation trailer. It's like, let's hit them with as many jokes so the kids tell their parents they want to see it quick before they forget about it, which I've noticed seems to be a thing, especially with kids, because of what Sophie says, I want to see that, we're going to see it. Because I see, or before when there were movie theaters, and now I'm Sad. Anyway, solar opposites. If Rick and Morty, the style of Rick and Morty was an animation house, whatever the company that's making Rick and Morty, this very much feels like, oh, this is their style. They make things in the style of Rick and Morty. That's what they're selling to people. I'm sure that's how this got picked up, because they're like, it's the same design as Rick and Morty, and you get the voices, and it looks very much like you could do a crossover very easily and not have to redesign things or something like that. And that's sort of animation style. I find that to be less exciting. But I understand they probably want a studio style, so I get it. I thought the trailer was actually pretty good, particularly like we don't have noses thing. Sounded like it was probably a better way to react to animation, kind of animation criticism than even the recent Teen Titans Go thing, which I found to be kind of cool. The kind of cutaway gags, some of it, like let's try heroin, just feels very like almost like, hey, get it? We're appealing to the Adult Swim crowd. We're edgy. And I was like, whatever. But it still looks fun. Like I'm also like, we're all looking for things to take our minds off stuff. This looks like a good one. So we'll see. About that one, it doesn't excite me like Rick and Morty. I'm kind of curious where people are going to go with it. If it's like half as successful as Rick and Morty, that's still like pretty fucking successful. So I can see why people would actually be into it. I think it's probably going to be a big hit for Hulu, but it didn't really sell me other than me being reminded of Rick and Morty. That's honestly what I thought of, and I watched it twice today, and both times I just thought, oh, so Rick and Morty, and then you hear Rick's voice in it, and I was like, so Rick and Morty? Like, that's just all I kept thinking. So I don't know if it really did the greatest job at distincting itself. Maybe that's the point. They don't want to, like Hanna-Barbera in the 70s. They're like, hey, you like Scooby-Doo. What if I made all my shows like that, and that's all TV is? And not to that extreme. Sorry, that was more of a Hanna-Barbera disc. But I think that's basically what... that's interesting that Ryan brings up it would air on Canadian Adult Swim. That's probably true. Alright, so moving on to the next topic as we mosey on down this. There is a recent thing on Cartoon Brew, and I know we talk about Cartoon Brew with a grain of salt pretty much any time they say anything. But there was a writer who basically talked about how adult animation is booming right now, and I kind of wanted to go over the points because I think that's really cool. One thing that we should note about anything that's talking about anything with the industry right now is everything in terms of everything in the entire world is in flux right now. So anyone who says in May it will be like this is sort of full of shit. So I'm going to say this is, even I don't think they even acknowledge that these things are moving this way now, but we're in a kind of a world changing event right now. So I don't want to even say this is permanent, but it's sort of interesting. This is where we're at right now. Anyway, so there's a story from Cartoon Brew. It says there are the 5 takeaways. I'm sort of just going to go over them. But the boom in adult animation, because there is a boom and there's more people doing it. You say Cartoon Broomer, Ryan? Jesus. That's... okay, Broomer. I had that song stuck in my head today. Anyway, again, which, thank you, okay, Boomer Girl. So the boom in adult animation is being driven by more streaming platforms, which is true. I think one of the things that, and I've been saying this with streaming, is it's going to open up more avenues for animation because they're more willing to spend a bunch of money on a kind of... a demographic than other channels were, because another channel's like, well, that's 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. We can't just give that up to the weird animation nerds. And then Hulu or Netflix, or it mentions Quibi, which I don't know about that one, but they're like, yeah, of course I'll do that. And those people will all sign up or stay signed up with us. And it makes sense. So this is kind of something I've been talking about before with Netflix and streaming, where there's going to be more avenues for animation. We're going to be able to do things different with animation than we have previously because there's more avenues open to it. And this is kind of saying that adult animation at least is safe right now. Bringing up that cable is losing viewers, The one thing that I find interesting, and I've noticed this, a lot of it is just like what's ending. Like this could help animation expand globally, which I agree with. The scene is expanding beyond comedy. Cable's losing viewers, but the last one, and this is something I've noticed from adult animation all over. And if Izzy's still here, she can maybe chime in on this. And I wish I figured out how to have guests because this would probably be a good idea. Anyway, so I should have figured this out with this particular topic. But is there? Oh, before I do that, is there I guess a nostalgic critic review you really like? The only video of his, and cheers to you, Ransan, for the super chat. The only one I will say really liked, he did one about the Secret of Nim that really impressed me. Other than that, I've never really cared for him. So sorry, I'm a hater. So the short of talent, and I've heard this from Fritz the Cat, and I've heard this from other animators, is a lot of animators don't really. There's some animators, I think most of them just want work, but there are certain ones who just want to do. Sorry, I'm animating kind of space. Oh, sorry, Izzy. I wanted to ask you with the chat and me talking. I wanted to ask you if it's true that if animators don't like to do more adult animated shows, because I've heard that before. So maybe this will bring you up to speed. R.I.P. Stuart Gordon, you were one of the best horror directors of the 80s and 90s indie lowbrow horror scene from Pop Culture Guy 3000. I want to bring this up. I was going to talk about him more on Saturday. I wanted to research him, have some good stuff to say. Today's been crazy. But I want to say, first, sorry this hoodie is like falling apart. I want to say cheers to you, Pop Culture Guy 3000. And thank you very much for the super chat. Cheers to you. But I've heard this from Fritz the Cat and Ralph Bakshi that certain animators just don't want to make inappropriate cartoons. However, I think I don't know if that's true, because I feel like most animators just want work, but maybe some just aren't really interested in working on that kind of talent. Everyone says I should call Izzy. All right, I hope Izzy doesn't say, "Please don't call me. Please leave me alone." I could call Izzy. This is the technology we're working in here. Let me call. Hold on, Izzy. I'm calling you. I hope this is okay. What? No. I don't want to do that. Hold on. I hope I have the right number. This is a phone, by the way. I hope Izzy's...
Hello?
Hey, Izzy. How's it going?
Hey, I got that I got the phone call, and then I saw on the stream, because it's backwards or time or whatever.
Yeah.
The delay.
Okay, I'm sorry to call you randomly. I hope this isn't weird.
No, it's fine.
I will find out how to have guests later, but I thought I would ask you this because I have really heard this. So if I'm totally wrong, you can say. I mean, you will say that. But I've always heard, and it says in this Cartoon Crew article, that there's always a problem getting some animators to do adult animation rather than like kid animation. Have you found that to be true? Do you know of anything like that, or?
Okay, so like I know I ran into a couple animators at RTX.
Mm-hmm.
That I know one worked as like a entry level job on, I think, Paradise PD. Is that the Netflix show?
I don't know that one, but that sounds like a thing.
It's something that's on Netflix. It's like a cop show that's animated, and like she didn't enjoy working on that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really verify on that one. I think like you know, if you worked on Brickleberry, would you really be that excited about working on Brickleberry?
That's true. I mean, do you think most people just do it anyway, or?
I mean, a paycheck's a paycheck, man. Yeah. Animation's hard, and
no, I know.
The thing is that like any job you work on, that's a resume on, you know, that's an experience that helps you get to the next job.
Mm-hmm. That's
like, I don't know. Fans get the luxury of like being able to pick and choose what show is good and worthy of working on. But when you are trying to break into the industry and you need the experience and the demo reel, well, personal work doesn't always cut it.
Well, do not a lot of people have adult animation on their resume currently?
I don't know. I'm kind of I'm a weird case when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Like, because of my online presence, I usually get like people asking me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since I've applied for other things.
Oh,
But
okay.
judging by stuff like Hotel Has Been, which is adult-oriented and kind of inappropriate in a lot of ways, people seem to really enjoy that.
No, that's true. That got millions of views, so...
Yeah, I don't... And plus also, you never really know when going into a show that hasn't aired yet how it's going to be received by... the public. I'm sure people, maybe when working on Bob's Burgers or something, when you have that first episode where they might be eating people.
Oh, yeah.
I
forgot about that.
That's a chance. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, before, I guess you go and stuff, how are you doing, I guess? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm recovering fine.
Uh-huh.
I'm starting to be able to be a normal person again.
Oh, good. I mean, what's it like with the corona thing? Are you guys all at home, or like what's...
Oh, yeah, we have a mandatory stay at home starting today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. All restaurants and stuff are closed except for takeout. Only essential places are allowed to be open, like GameStop.
Yes, I've heard about this. I've heard about this.
The only thing that sucks about it is because of my surgery, I've been basically in quarantine for the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I pre-gamed the quarantine, and I'm going stir crazy, man. I miss people. You
pre-game too hard, I guess. I'm sorry. That sucks. No, it's been crazy with this thing. So I was worried, but I'm always worried about everything.
We need to text more.
We do need to text more. Sorry, we're talking in public, very much in public right now, but...
It's cute. They like it. It's alright.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll let you get back to your work. Thank you for coming on as a surprise. We need to do a podcast again. It's been a while, so...
Yes,
and hang out.
I didn't realize they recorded one last Sunday.
Yeah, I couldn't... Anyway, I should text you more. Anyway.
Alright, Team Izzy.
Alright.
I'm out.
See ya. Bye, Izzy. Thank you so much. Okay, that was fun. Alright. Oh, that made me smile. Text Izzy more. Okay. Thank you all for... I hope that sounded good. I have no clue. That was fun. Alright. This is such a Jib thing to do. It is, because I did it. Alright, that made me smile. Do you have Pan's number? I have everyone's number. No, I'm joking. I mean, I do, but that's not... Anyway, who cares? So, I wanted to talk about serious corona things, and now I'm, too goofy, so I'm going to take a water. Text the girl. She's a nice friend. She is an amazing friend. Anyway. So, moving on to other topics. I guess Nolan's called a couple times too. Anyway, moving on to other topics. This is less movie related, but it is entertainment related. Let's say that Jeppies has said that there's going to be no new comic ships. Going out after this week. This is basically from Diamond Distributors, which is owned by Jeppy. This is sort of a problem that some people have blamed Marvel for setting up a distribution system that basically Marvel is distributed by one thing and Jeppy's distributed by another, and not letting there be more distributors, which I would agree with that. But basically, your local comic book store, I know people have been focusing on movie theaters and restaurants and basically everything that makes money ever, but just being destroyed. But let's say comic book stores are not doing well. So if you want to pick up a comic and they're doing curbside pickup, please do it this week while you can, because they're not going to do well. I think we've all talked about how there's going to be places that aren't going to be open after this is over, and without literally no product at all, they have no choice in the matter. Try to find out a way that you can support them if you are financially able to, as I will say, but support them. I thought that was pretty shocking to find out. One, I don't fully understand how the industry's run. It's not run great, and that they're going to be stopping. And one of my favorite comic book stores I grew up with, Alternate Worlds in Maryland, if you go there, and it's in Timonium, I believe, if you can support them, please do that. They have new owners, and I think they are worried, and I'm worried for them, and I've always wanted to visit their new location. So I want to say I'm hoping for the best for them, because it's like a big part of how I grew up. You almost worked on Brickleberry? Wow. The possibilities. Now I want Izzy to animate a Brickleberry thing. Anyway, we're going to talk about some... this is all kind of the same movie theater release schedule thing moving around. But basically, Wonder Woman... because there's like so much theater stuff. Well, let's talk about Wonder Woman, then Trollz, then yeah. All right, so Wonder Woman has moved to August 14th off of its prime June release date, which is a pretty big deal because we haven't really seen anything from June move. This could be for a couple of reasons why it's so late. Like, you might ask yourself, why not July? Why not this time or that time? Basically, like, Warner Brothers might know other alternative dates that studios are thinking of, particularly things like, I'm wondering if Soul will move. I wonder if Top Gun Maverick will move. I'm wondering if they'll put Black Widow in Wonder Woman's old spot, and Disney called Warner Brothers and go, hey, what's up? Look, we're going to fuck with your release date. And they're like, oh, damn, that sucks. Or, they know Black Widow's coming out on July 4th, and they're like, oh, well, then let's move this to August 14th. It's not the worst release date, because if you hit in August, you can actually be making money through September. Now, what the release schedule is going to be like in September, we have no fucking clue. And so the whole idea that we're not, that we know sort of what August is going to be is totally thrown out the window. The other thing this moved was Scoob, In the Heights, and Malagant, I think, which was originally August 14th when August 14th was different. Scoob needed to move because it was literally opening a week apart from the SpongeBob movie, which was a horrible release date. To my understanding, SpongeBob is like after Trollz, the next major movie. So I'm glad animation is holding the movie industry together. Unless SpongeBob moved and no one told me. But Scoob doesn't have a release date. In the Heights doesn't have a release date. Malagant, I guess, doesn't either. But it seems like that we're seeing things move in June. I expect May to be vacated. This might also mean we might still all be in quarantine in May, not to depress you, but that's a reality we're dealing with. The other thing, I sort of don't want to bring this up, and I don't want to be this guy, but maybe the reason they're moving into August 14th is I'm sorry, this is going to bring everyone down, but if a lot of people die, no one's really going to want to see Wonder Woman right after that, is kind of what I've heard. So that might be why we're seeing August more in play, because we're starting to realize that May and June might be depressing. Anyway, theater owners, and specific theater owners, sorry about that. I mean, this is what it is, guys. I'm sorry. So basically, before we heard the National Association of Theater Owners, which is literally called NATO, not a joke, literally called NATO, basically was like, look, we get it. The situation with Trollz World Tour is they had already spent advertising money. You don't get advertising money back. Oh, Nintendo's here. Sorry, Nintendo. That was, I made you sad just because of that snarf thing. I'm still mad about that. But so the thing with Trollz and the theater, so the National Association were like, look, we understand why you did this, because with Trollz World Tour, the issue is they had already spent a lot of advertising money that they're not getting back, and they needed to release it because they pretty much all their ad spend is gone. So putting more ads into Trollz World Tour, which by the way was not did not look like it was going to open big, they needed to release it in some form, or it was just going to be a huge financial disaster. And it seemed like theaters were okay with that. However, they interviewed the chief of the organization that represents American theater owners, which I think is sort of part of NATO, but they seem to... I will do a Snarf collab any day, Nintendo. And he basically said this, and this is sort of, okay, this is what this guy said in an interview. The guy was named John last name I'll mess up. That's how you pronounce it. It says, with the exception of Universal, every studio has gone overboard to reassure exhibitors that the theatrical model works for them, and that they look forward to releasing their movies theatrical once the virus is over. And every one of those studios called their exhibition partners and talked them through their plans for delayed release before they announced them. Only Universal on Trollz undermined the theatrical model, and Universal told no exhibitor that their plans on Trollz until approximately 20 minutes before the announcement. Exhibitors know who their partners are, and every studio has demonstrated true partnership and belief in the theatrical model during this time of crisis for all Americans, and indeed all moviegoers around the world. Basically, it sounds like, and some people have said they're probably going to screw over Universal in some ways, but in backhanded ways. I know people talked about John Campia's rant on this. He's not wrong. It's very much a possibility. They sort of don't like that Universal did this because the other movies were like out and they know they can't re-release them when theaters open up again, so they're cool with that. But Trollz sort of crossed a line, and that might hurt Universal. That also might be why they moved Minions. That might be another reason, because they're like, we sort of messed up the theatrical model, so maybe just like, let's delay you because our relationship isn't that good. And 20 minutes isn't enough time, because when Disney pulled Black Widow, they called the theater owners hours before, not 20 minutes before. It sounds like they weren't that respectful, and they didn't do a lot of phone calls and due diligence they should have of clearing the air beforehand, and just said, we're doing this. And that was probably not the best move. I don't think the $20 thing, I don't think is working, and I still don't feel comfortable with it, because I'm, on a personal note, like, I'm fine, I'm still employed and everything, but I really don't feel comfortable spending $20 on Trollz right now, because I'm very scared, and I think most parents I've talked to who were considering it have said they're not going to. And so I think it might not work out for Universal. And VOD, you don't make much money on VOD. So I don't think, even with everything that's going on, so I don't know if it'll really work anyway. It might have been like a really bad move, but they might have also known that there's going to be so many things getting released the rest of the year that they didn't want to get gobbled up, and there wasn't a good time for it. And this might have just been the only option available to them, especially since Peacock has not launched. Which, by the way, why haven't Peacock or HBO Max launched? Like, this is the best time to launch something, and Quibi is going to launch during this. I can't believe. Anyway, so yeah, that's sort of the situation that's going on with theater owners. And I was going to talk about another theater thing, but I feel like being depressing was not cool. So I'll save more depression for Saturday. Cool. All right. So let's talk about, I'm going to take a swig of Red Bull as I do before I do the segments. Cheers to you. I do hate Trollz anyway, but I wanted to see it would have actually been cheaper if I saw it in theaters, because I have Regal Unlimited, and that doesn't cost anything. I just buy my kid a ticket, and it's actually more expensive this way for me, oddly. But anyway, cheers to everyone. So recently I did a video called Every Adult Swim Show Ever. And as going through it, I looked at some of the pilots, and I realized I'd never seen Welcome to Eltingville. Eltingville? Welcome to Eltingville. And I thought it'd be cool to do like a small segment review of Welcome to Eltingville. So, first off, I didn't see this in 2002. I saw this now. The context of that pretty much is my whole opinion of this, because it very much colors of it. Idea, we do a Discord watch along of Trollz 2. If you want to do that, Austin, that is lovely. That's an expensive watch along. If you can get enough people to say they want to do it, then yeah, cheers to you, Austin. I think that's you get my opinion. And Alex, or Punk Guy 95, I should just call you Punk Guy 95, says the new Pearl Jam sounds pretty good. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Punk Guy 95. Thank you very much, Austin. Cheers to you both. Take another one. This stream's called Watching Jim Drink Red Bulls while he talks about nonsense about the entertainment industry. So anyway, I have, by the way, known of Eltingville for a long time. I never saw it. Just didn't happen. Make it Troll 2 instead. Nice one, Ryan. So basically, I'd never seen this pilot. I'd heard about it. I'm sure you know of people. Oh, I can call you Alex. Okay, Alex. I'm sure you know of people who know me who know of it. I know the song's been played on the Pizza Party podcast. I know all that. So the idea of this is this was based on a comic, Eltingville, and it is based around 4 friends, Bill, Josh, Pete, and Jerry, and they, are very much into comics and general nerdery and everything like that. In 2002, when this was made, that was a thing that we didn't make everything about. So it was kind of unique. So I get why people obsessed over it, because at the time, that was something we hadn't seen before. These references, things like that. The animation style looks like the Clerks animated series. So I sort of understand the obsession that comes from those days. Watching it now, I see that crap all the time. On YouTube, on TV, and everything like that. And to be honest, I don't think it holds up very well. I don't really get the obsession with it, and I sort of agree with Evan Dorkin, the creator, says about it, in that it doesn't really showcase what the show can do. And I would say, yeah, it doesn't. I can sort of see a gem of an idea in this. I actually think this is like maybe in episode 3 or 4. This is not a good pilot. This is not an episode that makes me go, I want to see more of this. I think for a lot of people they disagree, but it's not a pilot that's written in a way that makes you understand the characters. It's more about selling this Boba Fett plot and all this stuff. It shouldn't have been about that. It should have been primarily and 100% about setting up a character of these characters. I understand also their friendship is very aggressive, and that's not a very kind of a personal thing to get into. It's a little not as into for most people, but I think I wish they had introduced it better, and the creator has said that, and when I read that I was like, yeah, that's sort of what I was feeling through it. It does remind me of being into nerd stuff and going into comic book stores in the 90s in particular, when a lot of those trivia facts were like things you couldn't just know on the internet, and they went deep, like who really created Felix the Cat, like all these it wasn't like it went from really small nerd facts that no one would know to everything, because they have this. So basically, I should explain this better. They have this whole. Modern Eltingdale is probably Ready Player One. Ouch. The whole plot of this is, you have you have all these characters, and they're kind of playing D&D, and you do get more of them by themselves, I will say, but then they go into this comic book store and see a Boba Fett still in the box, and they have a trivia off to see who can buy it. And these 2 characters, and when they have the trivia off, it is actually a pretty intense trivia off, I will say that was kind of a more interesting part of the show, and I sort of getting into it. I got into it, but I just don't think it holds up very well. I don't think it's maybe the greatest pilot in the world. I don't really get the thing, but I also think I am too old for it. I should have watched this in 2002. I missed my window, and I had a window, and why I didn't ever go into it, or no one showed it to me. Sometimes you miss stuff, and that's sort of what happened with it. But it sort of took me back to that time of 2002. It made me think of it reminded me of that time when that would have felt special. Like, I remember seeing the first Mallrats and going oh my god, they're talking about variant covers in a movie. Like, they're talking about comics in a movie. Like, it felt crazy, and I sort of reminisced about that feeling while watching this pilot. But I don't watch Mallrats and think it's the best Kevin Smith movie. I recognize it has a lot of issues with it. So I think watching Welcome to Eltingville felt that way to me. I think it has some endearing qualities to it. I do think you could have maybe written it better, and there's certain things you can do with that concept, but as a pilot alone, I think it goes down as one of the best unmade Adult Swim things. For me, that's more Korgoth and stuff like that, but I still I still am not the biggest fan of this. It was kind of a fun watch. I'm glad I finally saw it, and now when Pan plays that theme, I sort of know what it was from. and the general nerdery of that. It is like very much selling like it's selling the nerd thing like so hard. It can be a bit much, but I still like it, and I still like I'll watch Mallrats for the nostalgia. Since I don't have nostalgia for this really, it just invoked nostalgia from me. But it did remind me of like nerds I made stuff with that you probably know. Nerds that I was friends with. It reminded me of all those things, and it took me back to that. And it was kind of definitely a blast back into 2002's past. I get why Adult Swim passed on it, because it wasn't simple animation. It was apparently too expensive, and this pilot was not ready to go to series whatsoever. So I think it kind of should have been, if it had been 15 minutes and it had been, if it had just been the first 15 minutes of this, I think it would have happened. It's just the Boba Fett plot maybe was too much. But they also, like, if they had just made 15-minute episodes, this might have worked. Now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe that's a test case. I don't know. What if Linkar had a TV show? A little bit. Anyway, I sort of enjoyed it for whatever, of the time of what it was, but I don't necessarily get the kind of potential that everyone sees in Welcome to Eltingville. Alright, sorry that was, I just shat on everyone's favorite pilot. Are people still watching after that? Oh, surprisingly, not as many, of course. Alright, so, I don't have a Patreon question, so we can just go through questions for the next 15-20 minutes, I believe is how much time we have left, I guess, and we'll go from there. So when is the Super Fuckers review? I don't know. So if anyone has any questions, ask them away, and that'll be that, because I'm out at 11:10. So yeah, Big O rules. Big O was cool. When the Saddle Rash reviews back, Saddle Rash. So basically, Saddle Rash. The deal is Jax and has told me to I think we have to do a big thing. It can't just be a segment. So I kind of want to do a bigger thing for that. So we'll see about that. All right. So Not Plausible said, "What's your opinion on bringing Luke Skywalker into Mandalorian season 2?" I haven't heard that. I know they cast a Luke Skywalker type for the Obi-Wan show, but I don't love that idea. I hope they don't do it. When is the Saddle Rash review? The best pilot ever. I am probably going to work on that soon. That won't be any time too soon, but I'm going to start working on it soon. I started to figure out what to do with that. But I think it'll have a lot of cameos and stuff like that. Maybe a Nintendo cameo. I don't know. I haven't actually asked him that yet, so I'm sorry if I put you on the spot, Nick. What's your favorite mythical creature that's been represented in animation? That's been represented. Mythical. Ninja Turtles. Okay. Let's this be the year. Let the year be remembered that humanity is being punished for making the movie Cats. I disagree. Cats is a beautiful piece of art, and how dare you? But if that's true, we deserve it. Not Plausible again. Which directors give the best and worst in-person interviews? John Carpenter, which sucks because I wish there was a good interview where he talked about more stuff. Stanley Kubrick, because there isn't any. Let's see, another one. Oh, best. Spielberg's really good. Tarantino's a mixed bag because he assumes you've read all his interviews, because he's the kind of guy who would read all his favorite directors' interviews and doesn't like to repeat himself. But that also makes you have to listen to all his stupid interviews, which is exhausting. Edgar Wright's always amazing in interviews. I love Edgar Wright, so I'd say that. Cinerem, are you seeing an upswing in the view count on your Contagion review? Honestly, not that much, other than when I reposted it, but I have seen more people into it. Cinerem, have you done a Contagion review? Because if you haven't, you should. I wouldn't recommend watching it because it would make you sad. Lauren Jones, favorite independent animated film? Wow. Let's say modern one? Would Cartoon Saloon count? If so, Song of the Sea, I'd say. I like that one more than Secret of Kells, but I haven't seen Secret of Kells in a while. Let's see. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Got lost there. Pop culture guy. What Stuart Gordon movies are you looking forward to watching? I would like to see sorry, I don't want to say the wrong thing here. I would be happy to watch, let's see, Robot Jox has been a little bit, did he direct Robot Jox? I've been meaning to review Robot Jox, to be honest with you. As well as watch Reanimator. He did do Robot Jox. Maybe Robot Jox. Robot Jox is kind of underrated, so I'd probably say that one, if anything. I wanted to really look into him, and I really just did not. With, like, having a job and having a kid all into quarantine, it's a bit a lot. So, what's your favorite series? What's your favorite AS series that is still ongoing? Well, 12 Ounce Mouse is back, so I'd say that one. Aqua Teen was for a long time, but yeah, I'll just say 12 Ounce Mouse right now. I know I make fun of people for liking Rick and Morty because it is such a basic thing, but I do actually watch every episode of Rick and Morty. I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty, so it's probably honestly that. So, but also, I'm a little behind on 12 Ounce Mouse. I haven't seen any of the new stuff, so I need to do that. Have you seen Creating Rem Laser? And if you have, what are your thoughts? I haven't, so I have no thoughts. Zyke the Pest. What do you think? Who do you think you'll get to co-host guest star on Movie Crap? Some of them I cannot say right now, but I'm sure it will be people. If they're on the Pizza Party podcast, I'm sure they will be asked. So I know those that crew. Did you have a question? Oh, sorry. Rand Sentinel question, 2-parter. If you had to review a movie with Doug Walker, what movie would it be? And since we are doing a John Waters segment, may I be on Movie Crap? And I will even do a phone thing to be on it. I'm not sure if there's like a specific thing for you on there, so we can talk about that later. If I had to review a movie with Doug Walker, I would say either Atop the Fourth Wall or maybe like something weird and, well, I don't know. It'd have to be good though. It'd have to be funny. Maybe something you really wouldn't like Pink Flamingos. Probably Pink Flamingos. Nathaniel Fogo, who is your favorite guest on the Pizza Party podcast? Well, I guess Izzy, because then she became a member of the Pizza Party podcast. Anyone I'm friends with. So if you're like, oh yeah, that was me, then yeah. I'm trying to think who else. Having Ian on was fun. Having the Wolfhard kid was cool. Stuff like that was neat. I like that. All right. Hold on. Wait, did I miss? I think I missed some. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Favorite Sewer Garden. Are you going to review the Beastie Boys documentary? I would like to. It's been crazy, so we'll see what's going on with that. Question of Pixar from Bruce Parker. That one was from Jesus B. Sorry. This is from Bruce Parker. If Pixar ever did branch out beyond PG or PG, what would be a good pitch that plays to their strength but does something unusual for them? Wow. Okay. I think Bone would be a good subject. That comic Bone would be good. I would also say, yeah, I can't think of, that's a big one there. I think also if they did, like, I know Ralph Bakshi has ideas, like people like that I think would be interesting for them, or if they listen to like Dan Harmon or something. I don't know, just throwing things out there for that. Sorry, Bruce Parker. Austin asks, question, have you heard of the pilot called Jetpacula by Rob Schraub? I haven't, but that's interesting. So that sounds kind of interesting to me. From Nerdification, have you or your dad ever read any Defenders comics? I'm a big fan. It's a team with Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, Hulk, Valkyrie, crazy fun, supernatural shenanigans. I guess that's the newer one. I haven't. I'm assuming he has because he's my dad. He reads a lot of comics. Carter Wright asks, underrated cartoons of the past decade. Even though Primal was pretty regarded, I feel like not enough people know about it. So I would actually say that. I know that's lame. I don't know. So much of cartoons I watch get, discussed and made videos about. So I don't know if I really have one for that. Because I'd be like, well, I'm not seeing much Hilda stuff right now, but, you know, a year ago, I don't think we really appreciate We Bear Bears enough. Sometimes I do feel that, so maybe that. I don't know. Maybe that's a review. An answer. M Blood T. You think there will be time where animation is the only movies left getting released since live action productions are getting postponed? I don't know about that, but I do think there's a possibility, since they can work, some productions are working from home, that could happen from there. So, Ryan Walterson, Ryan Walterson, are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Sure. Question, can we fix it? Maybe. Let's see. Any thoughts on Steven Universe finally ending the last of the early 2010s CN shows? It's sad. It's ending a chapter. I think Rebecca did a good job with it. I really haven't checked out Steven Universe Future just because of time, but I think she should definitely be proud of making one of the great shows of the 2010s. And I mean that very certainly. So, yeah. Question, favorite out of context Simpsons or Futurama quote? My opinion, 12 and Smell sucks. Well, maybe the hooker and blackjack thing. People do that one a lot. I guess Ryan did that actually. Right? Didn't you do that? I think so. Anyway, yeah, you did that when we were on the phone one point. But I'd say that one I hear a lot, and it's happened so much. I saw it on I'd seen the Futurama when it premiered, and I've heard people do it, and then rewatched Futurama and gone like, "Damn, I didn't realize that was from that." But then the same thing with Take My Money. I'd say stuff like that. Those are kind of my favorite. From Austin, favorite and least favorite Spider-Man villain. I never liked Kraven, and I love Doc Ock. So there we go. There's more 12 Ounce Mouse. Apparently there is. Be careful about posting twice because I know YouTube will get mad. Oh, Pixar. Oh, there were some super chats I missed down here. Let me do those. So much for Student Garden and Empire Pictures. That is true. Pixar should hire Gendy. Thank you very much. That is very true. Cheers to both of you. Okay. Todd Scanlon should direct an action. I agree with that. Where were we? Oh, he did review. Doug did review. I didn't know that. Monster Trucks? Good. Have you seen the live-action Clerks sitcom pilot? It didn't have any involvement from Smith or the OG cast, and it's awful. It's available on YouTube if you're morbidly curious. I would like to. I actually need to do a review of the animated series and the sitcom pilot at some point. So, favorite Pizza Party podcast member? I'm not answering that, Nathaniel Foga. Not plausible. Who would you rather collab with, Linkara or Nostalgia Critic? I think Linkara would be nicer to talk to, but to my understanding, he probably doesn't want to talk to me. Mike Mozart. Is Tim Heidecker's on cinema at the cinema any good? I don't really like that, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was very good. So, did you pick up Animal Crossing? I never play games, so I did not. What made you decide to call this show Movie Crap? The original, when it was a news show and it was actually edited in just like a 20-minute sort of thing, was called Movie Crap. I just thought this way it's like I could be loose about what I wanted to talk about with it, so that's why I called it that. I noticed some people were asking, wasn't when I had the public access show that was called Movie Stuff, because I realized I probably wouldn't get on TV if it was called Movie Crap, so I called it Movie Stuff. So that's the difference. I don't think I'll have any other movie title things, but ask me again when I have to do something, and I probably will. Let's see. Question, what's a movie that would be a really cool animated series? Dread, probably. Yeah, let's go with that. Sorry. Pixar should do Gendy's Popeye movie. Or you just said do a Popeye movie, Bruce Parker. But, M Blood T, thinking about changing the title of the show now that YouTube is offended by crap. I think I'll just do the stars because I like that. So that might be it for now. Question. Oh, Alex, you're going to like this. Have you watched any of the Regretting the Past videos yet? I can't wait to talk to you about it in depth. I will say this. I've watched a lot of them. I've watched both the 2 Limp Bizkit ones. I've watched the St. Anger one. I've watched the Good Charlotte one. It's a great series. This guy basically listens to an album that sold a ton of... I watched the Kid Rock one, an album that sold a ton of copies, and he goes by track, so you do actually have to listen to the album that's awful, which is... that's a bit taxing, but I will say he does a great job. I forget his name, but it's called Regretting the Past. It's a great music series. Alex recommended it to me. I really love it, so you should check it out. Person watching, I recommend it if you like music. Ice Bear for President, I agree. Also, Alex, you should check out this video about the silver apples. It's cool. I watched it recently. I was into it. All right, Jacob Shelter. Will you ever look at Kyle Newman's Fanboys? I have thought about doing that at some point because I've never seen it. And that's another one. I noticed that Welcome to Eltingville got good reviews from Ain't It Cool News, which is interesting. You know, it's that kind of a thing. Fanboys was very much an Ain't It Cool News thing. Final Space. I don't know about Final Space, so you're right. Where? Oh, dang. Where are we? Before we're on the last 5 minutes here. Ice Bear for President. Question, Jim. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Have you ever come across Saint Seiya? And if you ever do, what did you think of it? I didn't, and I should watch it. What's your favorite shonen anime? I feel like I'm going to answer this wrong, so I'm not sure. I feel like I probably know, but I can't think right now. Okay, so Matt Bat clarified this. 12 Ounce Maps had a special that aired with the Harvey Birdman special in 2018, and a 3rd season is planned to be released in 2020. So there we go. Pixar doesn't do adaptations. Oh, well. Didn't they adapt? Oh, I guess that's Disney. Never mind. Question, I said moment, not member. I'm sorry, Nathaniel Foka. That is wrong with me. Moment, I would say Shrek Hipster, or... I don't know. There's been a lot of cool moments, but I come to mind as Shrek Hipster because I watched that. What's the Robo cartoon called again? The Robo cartoon. Don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Carter Wright. Apologies. Why Netflix and chill when you can movie crap and fap? Is that what you do while you watch this? Oh, the guy's channel is called Rocked. Check out the YouTube channel Rocked. It's pretty cool. Do you ever listen to Comedy Bang Bang? No. Favorite movie soundtrack? Probably Saturday Night Fever. That's still a good soundtrack. Did you like the Kraven the Hunter more when they turned him into a furry and Spectacular Spider-Man? No, not really. Although I like, did you see the Netflix Transformer? I did. It looked cool. I thought I told you that, Zodberg, but I did. Have you ever going to cover Nostalgia Critics Amazing Spider-Man review? I will do reviews of all of the Nostalgia Critics Spider-Man reviews. I haven't gotten to watch the video yet. That's for Saturday, just so you know. And I think we're going to end it. Oh, Love, Depths, and Robots. Okay, maybe that's what. Alright, anyway. Oh, Ryan's seen the Rock reviews. Okay, anyway. I think that's it. This is kind of a special hour kind of thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this thing. I'm just doing sort of these quick things on Wednesdays just because, to keep us all kind of entertained and stuff like that. Anything, if you're like, why didn't you talk about this? I'm saving it for Saturday. After this upload schedule, there will not be a video tomorrow. Well, for the public, there'll be a Patreon exclusive video tomorrow, but the next video will be on Friday, and then we'll be back streaming on Saturday. So that's scheduled right now. And I think that's all of it. So everyone, take care of yourselves. If there's anyone in your building or you live with who you can do something for right now, please do. Try to clean doorknobs, wipe surfaces if you have Lysol. Try to be nice to people. Let's all do this together. Thank you everyone very much for being here. I'm not sure if we'll be back next week, but we'll see. And I hope you guys all have a good night. You're good to each other. Go see something cool. And And thank you all very much for coming out and being cool to each other. And I think that's all the things. So just wanted to say thank you very much for watching, and subscribe if... What is it doing? Subscribe if you would like to. See you next time.